Graham Davies, welcome to the Daily Politics. What did you make of the speech, and could Theresa May have done anything to rescue it once she had started?
Well, for me, the first rule of political presentation is that when the going gets tough, the tough keeps speaking. Unfortunately, her choice of delivery mechanism makes it very difficult for her to abide by that rule. You see, she's the only Western leader that I know of who still refuses to use plasma screen teleprompts at the back of the room. She insists on using a written script which is on a lectern in front of her. And this has two big consequences. Number one, she doesn't make sufficient eye contact, which is quite a problem when you're talking about emotive stuff or self-disclosure. A reader can't be a real leader. And secondly, the constant bobbing up and down of the head puts an awful lot of pressure on your throat, especially an untrained throat like Theresa May's, because she hasn't had Thatcher-like voice coaching. And it means that the vocal passages get blocked up. And when you start a speech, when you're under the weather, after half an hour, it means that a plague of frogs isn't just likely, it's almost inevitable.
Graham, unforeseen circumstances during a speech, and this is something you know a lot about, unforeseen circumstances can play both ways, can't they? Because they can be a wonderful lift to someone if they can respond to them in the right way and overcome whatever it is, problems, or they can be something else. How do you think this one worked out in that respect?
Well, it was a speech of two halves in that respect. The way that she responded to the prankster, she paused, she did what was very difficult for anybody to do under pressure. She did some hard thinking, and then she came out with really rather a good spoken riposte to the incident when she mentioned that she'd like to give Jeremy Corbyn a P45. It wasn't exactly Oscar Wilde or Jimmy Carr, but under the circumstances, it was quite magnificent. But then, of course, the horror had barely begun, and she'd used an awful lot of physical and mental energy during that phase of the speech, and then we had Throatgate, and I think things went down very badly indeed from then on.
But you're someone who looks at speeches all the time. How do you recover from a problem like a throat problem? We're in live television. It happens sometimes to us as broadcasters. There's not a great deal you can do. There
isn't. One thing you shouldn't do is take a lozenge from another politician, because that incident when Phil Hammond was doing his very best to save the situation showed one of the great perennial truths of presenting under pressure. You can either suck something or you can do a speech. You can't do both at the same time. There's only one solution, and that's to make sure that you have a glass of water in front of you, like I've made sure of that this morning, that has not hot water, not cold water, but lukewarm, room temperature water, and you don't just take a quick sip of it, you take a couple of major gulps to try and drown the frog.